What's up, YouTube? It's Mike here, back with another video. The 600 gallon finally has water in it, so we're gonna get into that today. I know I said that I was gonna do a video on the phantom red-tailed catfish this week. However, I'm gonna hold off a little bit because I think if I just wait an extra week or so, I can kind of like move everything around the way I want it anyway. So we're gonna wait on the phantom video. I'm sorry if you guys were looking forward to that. I know a lot of people love that fish. I love that fish too. But we will do a video on the phantom red-tailed catfish very soon. Very excited to get an update and get a good measurement on him. But for this week, pretty much got the 600 where I want it, so we're gonna jump right into filling up and finishing the 600. I've got all of the plumbing done for these lines, at least what I need to do before I can put the tank back down. So again, we have this end line here, goes to the furthest bulkhead, and then each one goes to each bulkhead. Pretty simple. I've made these long because we're gonna drop the tank down about 6 inches. I figure I can just cut this off where it's convenient for me. Super easy once the tank's down. But everything else is connected, and I've got my extra clips ready to go, so I can easily stand up on top of the tank and put these together once the tank is in place. And I've got a threaded union on the end of each of these, so I can easily connect the rest of my plumbing here. I don't have to like be in a weird position trying to glue stuff together. I've got unions on the end of right there, perfect spot for me to break the tank free. So it's easy to disconnect there and easy to reconnect the rest of the plumbing for the Ultima 2000 canister that I'll be running on this tank. The issue I've got is the elevations of the return and the drain, the drains that come out here right out of the tank. I kind of had to carefully pick my elevations of each so they don't interfere with each other when I drop the tank back down. So the other issue is I want to slide the tank underneath the return line, sort of thing. So these bulkheads will be underneath the return line. So after I've put it down off the dollies, I still have to slide the tank, lift it back up, and then take it off the moving men. But I'm gonna put it on the moving men just to try to make it easier for me to slide it back after I've got it off the dollies. Then I'll have to jack it back up and take the moving men out. So I'm inside the tank now, looking over the top, down in the back, so you guys can get an idea how this all lined up nice. I can still slide this over a little bit so it's gonna line up perfect. And I'm gonna cut the excess off and connect all these now. And I don't know if I ever mentioned it before, but I have 2 extra brackets here for 2-inch PVC lines, and those are gonna be for the Ultima 6000, and those are going to run all the way to the 1100. But right now I'm just going to leave them empty. I don't need them right away, and I can easily get in this tank and put in those lines. So I just got to get a couple 2-inch lines. I'll do that within the next week or whatever, just to have them back there for when I'm ready to hook that up. So again, right now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the excess off here and hook these up. Get to start adding water to the 600 gallon here. Hopefully nothing leaks. I've got a lot of possibilities of a lot of possible leaks. We shall see. So this is kind of a test fill. I do plan to fill it just a little bit below the bulkheads here, those lower ones. I'm gonna fill it just a little lower than those, and that'll be my leak test. Also, what I plan to do is once it's been sitting with water in it for like a day or two successfully, I want to clean up all the salt creep and excess dirt and stuff that's been in the tank from previous owner and from sitting a while. So I'm gonna let it kind of let water sit in it for a little bit before I really wipe it down and clean it well. After that, we'll drain it, buff the front panel inside and out, and then we're ready to fill it back up and add fish. So I've got a little pump here I'm gonna use. I wanna use tank water because I don't wanna waste water, considering I'm not gonna use this for fish. I'm just using it to kind of clean the tank. So I'm gonna use tank water to start filling it for my test fill. Again, I just don't wanna waste water. So I set up a little pump here. We're gonna pump water from the 1100 right into the 600. And for this first phase, I'm just going to fill it up maybe like an inch, just to get myself over these bulkheads on the bottom and my patches. The good news is if these leak, I can easily put a bucket under each of them and not have to worry about like, you know, having a hard time, or I don't have to worry about timing and like rushing to get water out of it. I can just throw buckets under them if they're leaking and either tighten them or drain the tank. So not too stressful here. We shall see how it goes.
Two hours later.
We got around 4 or 5 inches of water in there right now, and no issues so far, no leaks from anything. I'm keeping these because I'm kind of leaving it and walking away, so I'm keeping those under it just in case. But there's a bulkhead down in the back middle on the back wall that you guys can't see right now. Some of you might remember that I capped it. I'm watching that one carefully, but that one's going to be tough to see if it leaks, so I have to kind of crawl back there and like feel and make sure that there's no water back there. So I'm a little worried about that one because it's just not as easy. Some of the platform that the tank is on extends past the bottom of the tank, so the lip would catch water if that bulkhead leaks, so that kind of sucks. It's not something I really thought of when I was back there. I could have cut some of that out just to make it so it drips straight down, which would be very easy to catch if it leaks. But either way, I think we're okay because it hasn't started leaking yet, and I think it's fully submerged. I'm gonna go a couple more inches, maybe fill this a quarter of the way. I was just gonna fill it like a couple inches, but I changed my mind. I'm gonna fill it like a quarter of the way and then leave it overnight and see what transpires. The front panel is in fantastic shape, which makes me very happy. And if you guys have acrylic tanks, you might be familiar with like a lot of the really, really fine scratches that you get. I'm gonna try to buff those out. But the good news is when they are submerged, you don't see those. So no matter what happens at this point, no matter how much my buffing improves the look of the tank, it's never going to be bad. It's always going to be a really nice front panel, and that's awesome. So I'm really happy about that. I don't have any big scratches or anything on here, and this is going to look really, really nice when all is said and done. Well, we went a day, no problems, and I'm impatient, so I'm gonna fill it up to my intended spot, at least for leak testing, which is somewhere around here. Trying to just be shy of this particular bulkhead because they are the lowest. So rather than like have to cap them to an extent that they won't leak, I'm just gonna fill it up that high. Good enough for me, that's a good leak test for me. Make sure that, again, still none of this leaks, and it'll also test, we're about to be testing these back drains. We're really close to that height. So I'll get back to you guys once we are up to the level that I wanna be at. Just like that, it's full. I threw an air stone in there just to make sure that water doesn't go too stagnant for the next day or so. Obviously it's gonna get gross no matter what because it's tank water, but you get the idea, just to keep it moving a little bit. Again, I didn't go up over these bulkheads. I don't want to have to cap them to a degree that they are, well, I just don't want to make more work for myself by capping those when I'm going to use them eventually. So I'm going to leave them just like that. This is a good enough leak test. It's going to help break up a lot of this stuff, especially in the corners. I'll get in there and wipe that out and scrub at it the next couple of days until that is clean, and then I will drain it again and it'll be time to buff the tank. But I think it's pretty cool. Again, no light on it, sorry, but you get the good idea how nice this is gonna still be. We're gonna have substrate, so we're gonna cover all this stuff on the bottom, and we're gonna push that. I gotta tuck that back in, tuck the background back in, but it's gonna be super nice. Even without the tank buffed, it looks really good. Makes me not want to buff it, but I think buffing it will be worth it in the long run. I will do it now, get it over with while I still can, before it's running for a long time. So all did not go entirely smooth though. I did have leaks when I first filled it up. So first this bulkhead leaked and I dropped the water level way down, adjusted the bulkhead. What happened is it kind of was unseated, and I think I know why, and I'll explain that in a second. So I fixed that one. This one was fine, and then I filled it back up, and then this one started leaking, and I'm like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. So I drained it again and fixed this one and double checked this one again. So I think what happened was when I first pushed the tank up against the wall, I pushed it too far, and also when I had it on dollies, I pushed it up against the wall too far a couple times, and I think I put pressure on those bulkheads and kind of moved them enough. Plus, I think that when I was tightening them down, I kind of moved them down a little too far. They just weren't seated evenly, so it was a really big pain in the butt to actually fix that. But I did fix it. Neither of them are leaking anymore. This one in the back middle that you can't see never leaked, thank goodness. That one was a big worry to me. But yeah, again, fix that. That was my only issues so far. I'm not worried about these little ones. Those are pretty straightforward. I am worried about some of my connections in the back for the return. I'll have to deal with that when the time comes. I actually just lost power, so my media is getting back up and rolling. That's why we got a dead spot here. But I wanted to give you guys a view kind of the 1100 and the 600. Obviously the Ultima here will be gone. That's going to be off on the side. And I lowered this water level because I was filling this tank. So this will obviously be a lot nicer when they're both full, but obviously I took water out of this tank to put it in here, so you get the idea. But I really wanted to give you guys an idea how this is going to look. Once this Ultima is gone, that'll help too. That'll look much nicer, I think. So I'm excited. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. We are super close on the 600. I am getting really excited to have it up and running. I think the visibility on that tank is going to be a lot better than my plywood tanks, so I'm happy about that. That's a big deal for me, is being able to see the fish really, really well. And granted, the plywood tanks are great, but you know, it's way better in a nice big acrylic tank. So I'm excited to have it up and running, and we're super, super close. I ask you guys, as always, to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell for notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Off the Deep End Aquatics. I've been doing almost daily updates on Instagram. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.